Hello, everybody. Hello, Emmy, Sophia, Leonard.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is a research and experimentation space about radical freedom. And I even write the name here because I make such a big title that I can't remember. But the title of this work talk I created, it is Before You Grow Up, Perhaps You Need to Become Alive, Radical Freedom. And then the subtitle, that is what I want to focus more specifically today, is how to relate with possibility management from a place that is not your parent ego state, which means pressure. Because this is a topic that is really alive for me and that I'm researching and experimenting with about pressure. And because I spend a lot of time inside of the context of possibility management, I specify possibility management. And you can apply that for anything in your life, like family or your work that is not possibility management, or you can apply for a project or partnership, any area of your life. But today specifically we'll focus on possibility management. That is the area. And hello, Oliver.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Oliver.
Glad to see you. Hello, Amy. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Hello, Leonard. Hello, Gabriela and Sophia. Hi.
I was introducing the title of this space, so you are right on the time. Okay. And I want to open the space beginning with listening to you. What is the questions that you bring and what it brought you in that space today?
Yeah, I have several questions. The first one is, you said you first have to come alive and then you can become adult. And at the same time, I experienced myself like I was starting more than 2 years ago to quit my corporate job, to sell my car, to get out of my apartment. And I'm still with the sensation far from being radical free. It put so much pressure on myself. So the question is, what skills are needed for me to be able to make the experience to become radical free, and what are the experiences I need to make actually to become radical free? What does it mean?
I was smiling because you were saying what are the things? And it's already so pressure, like what are the lists that I can go through so I am radical free?
Yeah.
What you have to do.
Did you notice that? Like I expressed what was my smile behind my smile, and the question I had, did you notice that? Actually, my question is, if you could have 0 totally relaxed and 100 full pressure, how is it the amount of pressure did you notice from your question?
Like 50%.
Hmm.
I can notice inside of myself is really still there. There is something really closing here in this area.
In the chest?
Yeah. And my shoulders are tensed up almost all the time when I'm not really focused to relax them. It's all happening ongoingly.
Thank you.
Yeah, one question that comes from me is also like, how can I hold space for myself before I am radical free? Like, it's like, is there everything what I do is then needed to be done with pressure? Is there some way before becoming radical free to handle that, like earning money or getting a roof over my head to sleep and food? How can I for me at the moment it's not possible to yeah to not serve for myself without using pressure, except if I go home to my mommy's house and relax there, let her everything pay and just forget about everything. And then I still beat myself up that I'm at the house home at my mommy's house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I will. I want to bring some distinctions along the way, but I want to also hear from other people about that. Thank you for sharing that 2 questions.
Thank you. And what brought me here was that I'm feeling lately lots of pressure of the PM. Like every feedback I'm getting, I'm like taking it really serious. And then I notice now that's like, oh, I want to not take it so serious and discover for myself what do I need, and I find this gap. And I'm finding it, yeah, at the same time I'm like, I need the feedback to have this freedom, because I feel I'm not tuning into what, yeah, like this radical freedom, like to just tune on what I need and like accept feedback or not. But I go, yeah, it's giving me lots of pressure, the feedback I'm getting from PM. And yeah, that is what brought me to this space.
So I want to check one thing. What I heard is that you are creating a lot of pressure when you are receiving feedbacks from in PM spaces, from people inside of PM spaces. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, probably mainly the like people that I think that like the high, these are the masters. The most. And then I feel something in myself that's like, oh, I should doubt about it. It's like I need a confirmation from somebody else that, yeah, it's okay to doubt about this.
What do you feel fear about?
I feel fear that I will maybe make a mistake, that I feel fear to like to confront, as a confrontation, yes. To say, yeah, okay, no, this is not working for me, or can you tell me more about this? Like go into more, maybe it's arrogancy. There's emotional fear about that. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to add something. I discovered today, I was so afraid to acknowledge that I put so much pressure on me to really say to my team, now today I'm off. I canceled all the meetings I had and was just taking a stand for myself that I'm where I am, and I'm like unable now to deal it differently, to really take a stand for where I'm at. Yeah, so resonate with what you share, Amy, in this regard. Yeah.
Thank you.
For me, there are many things alive right now, like especially listening to you, Amy, brought up this question of like how much adulthood does it need for me to be radically free? Like how much can I grow up that I really don't care what other people think or say? And
Yeah.
and what is the point where where it doesn't take any effort for me anymore to not adapt? I sense myself being at the point where I'm sensing, okay, I'm about to adapt. I'm about to please this person. I'm about to create a hierarchy. I'm about to kind of try to do things right. And then I kind of really have to force myself and okay, I'm not adapting. I'm staying with myself. I'm keeping my center.
What do you do in that gap, Oliver? You said force, and what is exactly the thing you do?
I'm using conscious anger to not adapt, to keep my center. And it's a decision that I take, and it takes effort.
Could you unfold more that word, effort?
Yeah, so it's not happening naturally by itself. So like I find myself again and again at that point where like naturally out of my survival strategy, I would adapt. And then if I notice that, and I have the possibility to choose something else, and then I really, yeah, I take effort. So I use conscious anger to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like how much adulthood does it take to be radically free is a question that I'm carrying with me at the moment. And is it possible? Yeah, it's something also that you kind of asked, Leonard. Is it possible to be radically free, or how do I hold space for myself before I have reached a certain level of adulthood?
And I have one more question. Do you have an expectation that in some point will not have effort?
I don't have an expectation, and I'm getting a sense, like I'm starting to get a sense that it's possible to just naturally do what I want. I have made this experience. So there are areas in my life or in certain situations or with certain people where I just naturally do what I want without thinking what I should be doing, how I should be pleasing them. And it just, I just noticed like afterwards, oh, wow, I just did what I wanted without giving it any other thought. So I know it's possible.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the effort, it's not thinking about it. It's just naturally happening. And you just after that realize it, oh, this happened. But you don't have this thinking and decide and consciously deciding process before happening.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I learned last week is this distinction between being centered and keeping my center.
Mm.
When I'm centered, I'm just centered. I'm just centered. And when I keep my center, then I'm taking effort to do it. Or like I'm pulling it back again and again.
Mm.
And I'm sitting with another question. For me, radical freedom somehow is very much related to this V process that and Chloe recently shared the video about the star. Like this, there's this side where I'm putting pressure on myself that I should be doing something. And on the other hand, there is this thing of like, oh, I have nothing to give. Or in my world, it looks more like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't have energy, so I better don't do anything. It would be overwhelming anyway. I don't have energy, so I better don't do anything. And I noticed myself how I go from one place to the other. And this has been just normal for me to go from putting pressure on myself and then kind of collapsing and like, okay, fuck everything. I'm just taking time for myself. And then emerging again. And then at some point putting pressure on myself again. And yeah, and I'm just sitting with this. I also feel sad about this. I haven't figured it out, like how it is to really land in reality where I don't pressure and where I don't collapse.
Mm.
Yes.
This what comes there to me when you share that is like when I go on the transformational path, I go to the edge and stay there or go out of my comfort zone. And this needs anger to go there and be with my fear, hold space for my fear. And the way how I do it is like with pressure. I have not found the key, like what is the conscious anger to not pressure myself to go out of the comfort zone? How is that possible?
Thank you. What about you, Sophia?
Somehow I landed here, so I didn't print a question before. However, it's something that
We'll speak a little bit louder. I feel fear that is not landing there.
it's something that calls me. I changed a lot. Recently I left a job, I divorced, so there was all these changes, and still there is this thing about providing for the kids, or this thing about finances. There's always there, and kind of keeps me in this position of just not being guided for my feelings without any kind of other have tos or must tos or whatever. I also feel it resonated when Oliver told about also the pressure in the trainings to be as expected. So that's also there. And these days, after one training, I've had some time for myself, which is not something normal for me. And just being with this experiment of doing what I feel, what I want, what being closest to my radical freedom, even if it's just like for a day for me. And it's been really nice.
It was after the lab,
Yes.
the feelings practitioner lab. And could you say more about that experiment?
Just being here at home, because I had some appointments that were dismissed, and just trying to feel where my body, because I've been training a lot with the body, where my body takes me. And like I'm preparing some food or making a coffee. Do I really want to have a coffee? And talk to my body, and then make this decision with this input from inside. Or what do I want to eat? Or do I want to stay more time in bed? This is totally out of my normal routine. So it's been interesting to follow this sense this from my body also.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
We have such interesting questions that I think we could stay for at least 4 hours in that space. And I noticed when I was listening to you, your questions and your X on the map and your experience about all these topics, and I noticed I'm starting creating pressure inside of myself. It's like, oh my God, this is a work talk. They paid to be here. They are expecting answers, and they want experiments, and they want to discover how to handle pressure and how to get out of this fucking sucking prison. And I don't have any answer. How come? How will you do? What the hell? And then I noticed that happening while listening you, and I was doing the experimenting of dropping the chair. So I noticed the impulse of coming like that and really paying attention and trying to write as much as possible what you say, so I can answer as much as possible with my mind. And then I was in this bouncing, and I was like, okay. And this is one of the main experiments I'm doing about pressure right now, that is about the observing and not trying to fix it. And this is the most simple thing to do and the most hard thing to do at the same time. When I notice what I'm doing and I want to change it, and then I create the pressure about the pressure. And then I create a buffer and a buffer and a buffer. And somehow in common, mainly in your question, Leonard and Oliver, I heard some part of arriving somewhere. And I feel fear that is this pressure of the pressure of pressure, or the pressure to like how much of adult I need to be radical free. As you will get to some point where you will be radical free. And my experience is that radical freedom, or this presence, it's not a place you arrive. It's a place you experience. So I dare $100 that all of you already experienced radical freedom in your life. And some moment, in some situation, in one day, as you described it, Sophia, or with one person, or in 1 second. I don't know, for me, 1 second of radical freedom that is coming right now in my body, it is the image of a sauna. So I was in France 2 months ago, and I was in a sauna with Gabrielle, Afne, Leonard, and Daphne. and it was like 70 degrees, and I'm kind of claustrophobic in a sauna. Like, it's, for me, it's really a practice to be there, and it's like, okay, it's hot, how I can stay here, and I remember the radical freedom that I felt when I opened the door and I sensed the fresh air. And I could breathe, and I could not feel my skin burning. And this was radical freedom. So I feel fear when I was reading the website, and I'm starting to research about that. I'm living it the last months, this research, that we take radical freedom as the next carrot to achieve. Like, okay, I will take it. I will arrive there. I will be radical free. One day I will be adult enough to be radical free. One day I will arrive there. And this is such a bullshit, because it's this illusion of perfectionism or achieving something, so then da-da-da. So the question, or the territory I want to open is how you are already experiencing in your life radical freedom, and what is blocking you to experience more. And you said, Oliver, you already had these experiences with some people in some moments that just happened. And it's like that life stopped, or that you act before you're thinking. And this is such a pleasure and a aliveness in the body. And a key that I'm finding in myself about that, of like, how can I experience more radical freedom, is unfolding my joy and connecting with the joy, the feeling of joy, the conscious feeling of joy. And it's, I noticed that in the field of possibility management, somehow there's a fear of touching that part, or there is this idea that comes naturally, like the joy comes naturally after you're working with your and other feelings. But what I discovered, I created a 5 weeks research with Julia Neumann and more 4 people some months ago. And what we discovered in that research, that is not true. Joy don't unfold like as just as a consequence. Joy, we created a lot of blocks to feel and to experience joy, as we created it to anger and to fear and to sadness. And one of the blocks I discovered when I was in that research was that joy is childish, and if I express too much joy, I will be too much to others. To my family back then, I was like too loud, and so I put a block here, mainly in my throat and my chest, that really contract. And when I was laughing, I had this laughing, and then this shutting down. So when you're doing 2 minutes of joy, and I was trying to laughing, it was so painful. Like I couldn't express full out because it was like blocked here. So the joy has powers to use sniff reality.
Say it again, please.
The joy have superpowers to use sniff, like
To sniff, okay. Mm-hmm.
Like sniff, feel the smell of reality, of where is it reality. As anger cut the bullshit, And sadness show what is important to you, and the connection. From in my experience, the joy is like this smell of reality. It's this curiosity of touching, tasting, discovering what is it behind. And we kill that part in ourselves. I don't know how you killed, but I discovered that I killed that part in some ways, in some degree inside of myself. And I'm doing a lot of practice of unfolding that joy and anchoring in my physical body. And I think the glue with this pressure thing, it's the mind. It's living your life towards your mind, like using your mind to direct your life. And I discovered that when I was in the women's lab. And we were, Sophia and Emmy, you were there, but I will share a short description of what happened. It was a line. It was the first session. There was a line, and we were all in patriarchy. And it was to us to cross the line, and the another side was something else, was archiarchy, was something that is not patriarchy. And each woman started to go to their anger and to go to all the feelings about being here in patriarchy. And in my own process, the main thing was like, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to try it. And then it was like my mind was wanting to go, but my body was sitting down there. And it was a fight with my bodies. And then I started to feel rage about, no, but I hate to be in patriarchy because of it's killing my relationship. I'm competing with this woman. These three women crossed the line, and I'm competing with them because they crossed and I'm not. And I hate it. And anyway, I went to all the layers and the layers, and there was a point that I was with half my body there and a half of my body here. So I was like being splitted. And in this point, when I closed my eyes and I was in this fight of, I want to be there, but I'm not there. I'm still not there. I have this, and I have my grumbling, and I have that, and I have all these EHPs, and I have to be fixed. And then all of this was patriarchy, all the pressure, all these things. And the shifting point for me there was when I went crazy. And I really don't remember what I spoke. I just looked to the eyes of these women, and I started to speak and go. My sensation was going crazy and losing the ground. And in this moment, I was not in my mind. And the pressure disappeared. And this that you are describing, Sophia, I see as the key to handle pressure. That is, how do we move from our bodies? From our physical body, I mean. Instead of our mind. Because we are so trained to move from our mind. So pressure can be for you a new indicator that you are living in your mind. Every time you feel the pressure, you can instead say, oh my God, I'm feeling pressure again, fuck. And then you let your parent ego state, I'm not adult enough. I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do that. You can just convert that, I'm in my mind now. And then from there, you stop whatever you are doing and you try something else. You come to your physical body. And I propose to do an experiment now to test that. So you have the experience of it. So you also can, if you choose to practice that in your daily life. So the practice would be in pairs. You will scan for the pressure. Where is it, the pressure? Right in the small now. So for example, when I scan right now, there is a pressure to speak faster because I feel fear of the time. And I feel this pressure of speaking faster. When you locate that pressure, that can be in any of your bodies. This one, for me, it's in my mental and energetic body. So you locate this pressure and you say out loud, I am in my mind. I'm living in my mind right now. And then you take a deep breath and expand your lungs and really open your arms. And you will drop in your physical body. And this is not something I can explain to you. It's really an experience. So you will try different things. Maybe it's to move your body a little bit. Maybe it's to stretch. Maybe it's making a sound. You discover, but you drop in your physical body. You sit inside of your physical body. And then from there, you will speak what impulses come. And you just speak without thinking what impulses come. And when each time you catch a pressure, you will stop again. So if you can't even speak one impulse, it's okay. The purpose of the exercise is that you catch yourself in the pressure and you stop and you declare, I am on my mind. Is there any question before we go to the rules?
No.
Yeah, you named it. So I'm scanning myself, and the other person is there as a witness, or what's the other person's role?
Yes, the another person, your partner, will witnessing you, and you will, if you catch that the person is not catching the pressure, because the pressure can become so normal to you that you even don't notice when you're pressuring yourself. If you catch that the another person is pressuring herself somehow in some degree, you stop and you say, check again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, I will create the rooms. We are 3, so in this one, and I will be 4. Let me see the time. It will be 5 minutes for each. Oh, 4 minutes for each, and you take care of the time. Your partner take care of your time. Okay. Okay, see you in 8 minutes. Okay, here we will do last time. I propose you do 3, 3, and I do 2. It's okay? Yeah, I will take care. I take my cell phone. Who wants to start?
Oh, you can go, Amy. So happy to see you here.
Yes. Yes. I will.
You are in Portugal?
No, I'm back in Holland now. So I go?
You choose. Do you want to go?
I want to go.
Okay.
Mm.
So
So
time is going.
I feel pressure that I need to do things right. So I am in my mind. Do I stay looking at you, or I feel pressure? I'm doing the exercise wrong and there is a right way. I am in my mind. Mm. I feel pressure that I have to move my body. I am in my mind. Mm. I feel pressure. I have to act out. Yeah. I am in my mind. I feel pressure about the time. I am in my mind. I feel pressure about you two looking at me. I am in my mind.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
I go next. I feel pressure in my shoulders and that I have to, pressure that I have to make sense of this exercise. I am in my mind. I create pressure that I have to open my eyes and look at you, because I have to connect with you. I am in my mind. I create pressure that the sounds I do or the movements I do should be in a certain way that is more not so weird or not so out of line. I am in my mind. I create pressure because I made a sound, and I think you think that I'm hurting myself. I am in my mind. I created pressure now that I didn't spoke any impulses in 2 minutes. Okay, I am in my mind.
Thank you.
So I feel pressure to get to the point of this exercise, like having an impulse. I am in my mind. I feel pressure because I have back pain, and I'm thinking I have to go to work on this. I am in my mind. I have the impulse to move my body. I feel pressure that I have to correspond when I start to have the impulse, and then immediately I feel pressure to reconnect with you. I am in my mind. I feel pressure about time, about dinner, about things here at home. I am in my mind. I have the impulse to take care of myself, to caress myself. And immediately I start to think, what are you thinking about this? I am in my mind. Just now my impulse was to breathe and say nothing. And immediately, or after a few seconds, I just started to think that I'm not supposed to just be breathing or doing nothing. I am in my mind. I feel pressure to say something. I am in my mind. I feel some pressure in my chest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm back in a second.
Hello again from this main space. And I invite you to use that space to somehow keep practicing it and share and keep the practicing of I am in my mind, and bring what this created in your system, and what did you discovered, or the questions that emerged from that practice?
Yeah, what I noticed, mainly I created the pressure from my head, and at the very first one, I noticed the pressure was somehow, maybe the mind thing happened already much more before. I did not notice anything in my head, but I was really stiff, and I sensed pressure inside of me to be really present and focused. There I did not, but in the other tries, I could notice when there was the head involved. And what was challenging was like when I'm afraid to that when I just don't when I don't censor myself, or you know, when I just speak from my body, I'm afraid that my gremlin takes over. And it was like impulses coming from my gremlin. I was afraid, and then that this pressure again.
Wait, pause there. What is a fear about?
Fear about is that I'm filling the space with nonsense, and bring something that is not my intention. I wanted to create something from value. It's like almost like this want is like enmeshed with what I should, and it's like I don't want to let my gremlin speak right now, but
So
it
you
happens
were,
anyway, and then
so
I'm with this pressure.
yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you were already in your mind.
Yeah, in this case, yes.
Yeah. And how was it when you just stopped the impulse and you just name it? I am in my mind. Did you stop the impulse?
Yeah, I stopped the impulse. I connected with my body. I noticed I made natural body movements. Automatic. It's like my body moves from by itself without thinking. But when I go with this intention, now I speak from my body, then I create already the tension. When I did not expect myself now or go with any intention to speak, I notice a natural impulse to make contact with Oliver and then share what's going on inside of me. And yeah. So the question for me that arises, when as soon as I bring in an intention, what I want to do, how can I want something and do what I want without putting pressure? When I just allow myself to flow, it's easier. When I don't have the intention now, speak not from the Kremlin, or also speak from with other bodies, just then use my voice, express something in a different way with my physical body. Then it's easier when there is no kind of exercise where I want to do it like, you know, how it is supposed to be. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Can I share something?
Please.
I felt sadness during the exercise because it was very fast. The moment the impulse came, immediately the mind took the charge of what's happening. So the moment there was this impulse, there was in like seconds the judgment, because they are seeing I'm not supposed to be doing this, or what am I doing, or whatever. So it's really, really fast, this, especially for me, with other people present, probably because there is this wanting to be as expected.
So you notice that impulse to be as wanted, expected of others, like me and Emmy.
Yes.
Yeah, I notice in myself I felt sadness because I noticed I expect to arrive in impulse, and I didn't have when there was emptiness and I was present without any pressure. I was already expecting the impulse to come, and I could discover that the pressure, it's really connected with expectation. This ping pong that you brought in the beginning, Oliver, there is this distinction about the pressure and I would not do nothing. I would give up. It's so connected with expectation, and I noticed that expectation in myself. And then I was doing movements and finding this experiential reality of sitting in my in the now and my physical body. And it was like gaps, like really seconds. And the experience of say I am in my mind was like I sensed as I stopped to my grumbling, was like taking out the weapon for my grumbling. And then he tried to play again with another thing, and then I took again out, and then I tried playing with another thing, and for me was this picture of unweaponing the weapon of my grumbling, of creating pressure.
What I just heard you say is it's your gremlin that's creating pressure, and he's using it somehow as a weapon against you.
Yeah, it was my experience in that exercise. I had a purpose that was being present and check my impulses, and then the pressure was not to connect with it. And I noticed I really could sense my grumbling.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movement of I tooking and tooking, and then and by then I mean like this pressure.
Yeah. I didn't get that. Did you also put pressure on your gremlin, or is it your gremlin that puts pressure on you?
My grumbling was creating the pressure when I was present, and then it started to come thoughts. So I noticed my grumbling using the when I say weapon, I mean the pressure in the thoughts. For example, what they are thinking when I'm doing such a big movement with my arm. And then it was this pressure. And then I said, I am in my mind. And then this thought was like killed. And then my grown came with the next thing. And for me, the I am in my mind, when I declared, it was killing the thought. I didn't sense that I was pressuring my grumbling back. It was just like, okay, I am in my mind, and then lost gravity. But then came the next thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed I feel lots of this, the fear. And the moment I said I was in my mind, it gave me like a moment like what you described, Gabriella, kind of like, oh, okay, it's not there anymore. And then came also the sadness of like, why are you so bothered about what other people think? Or this, like the sadness of like, this is limiting you so much. And then the other pressure. And the fear, there was mainly lots of fear. I'm doing something wrong. Or like there is a right way to do it, wanting to know the rules and follow them. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed, Amy, you were speaking in a very impersonal way. Like there is the fear and wanting to know the rules. You didn't say I once in your whole sharing. Would you give a summary using the word I? Like what's going on for you?
Yeah, I feel sad to observe all these pressures. And I was feeling lots of emotional fear. And it gives me also pressures, like this pressure that I have to be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you. I found for me it worked quite well to notice the pressure, just little things like needing to be present with Leonard and needing to be present in the work talk, and then just kind of moving the body and naming it and breathing helped to just be in my body. And what does being in my body means? To actually have my attention in my physical body and notice the sensations. And as I'm doing it right now, I feel this natural impulse to kind of sit more straight and breathe more. And I feel glad right now to notice that this is it's something that I've been practicing in the last weeks and months, this just being more present in my body, and how this is related to radical freedom, how in a way this is radical freedom. Okay, I'm just here, full stop.
What happens from this place?
Different all the time right now.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now. What happens right now?
Right now, I'm glad to just sit and breathe and kind of sit more upright, and right now being in contact with you, Gabriela. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this is radical freedom. There is no place to go, and it's all up to you. It's all up to you. And there isn't any authority or voice or expectation or nothing to tell you how to speak, if you stay in this room or you go to sleep or you decide right now to just turn off because you want to turn off. Or if you want to lay down instead sit, or you want to breathe or open your arms or put your legs in the chair, that there's nothing stopping you to do that. And from your radical freedom is that it's all up to you what you do. And this is fucking scary. And I think this fear of being in that place that is all up to you is that we don't dare to give up on pressure. Because it's easier to have this low drama, because pressure is this constantly low drama. So it's more tasty to have this constantly low drama than feeling the fear of being so alive. And that you can do whatever you want to do. And I'm with that. I was listening you, for example, Amy, sharing about that even the fear, like when you've noticed this emotional fear, you already felt the pressure of, okay, I have to do the next emotional healing process. Who already have that pressure? It's like, okay, I have to do my next EHP. Okay, you know, Oliver, I want to have a work talk with you to explain how to not do it.
Now it's a secret.
I've had it definitely, and I sometimes have it, and right now I don't have it, and I haven't had it in the last weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so right now you don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you're really in the now. I'm glad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that? Because when I made the question, I thought I asked it, who are having pressure to do emotional healing process? And I said in the now. And right now I don't have this pressure, but I raise up my hand because my now it's in the most of the time. So most of the time I have this pressure. So yeah.
Yeah, something is alive in me. There's this thing of like, you know, this finger, like, fuck you, I'm not taking your pressure. I just do what I want and I won't do what you tell me. Like, this might be a phase one of radical freedom. I don't know, like really using the anger to say no to any kind of real or imaginary pressure that comes from the outside. And it's still reactive. And
yeah, I would say that this is the I will not do nothing. Fuck you, I will not do nothing. It's the same game. So the at the opposite.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to try that as much times you need to try it.
Yeah, like I've been doing that a lot. Also, for example, with EHPs and stuff like, oh, fuck you, fuck it, fuck you, PM, you know, like whoever that is, but it's like, oh, I just do what I want. And like really in this reactive way. And I think it was helpful. It's like I decide, like, and it's, I would say it's still not radical freedom. It's maybe a first step out of pressure.
Yeah, one hint. So we were talking before this experiment of I'm in my mind, that we all already experienced some taste of what is radical freedom, this place of presence, and that we are moving from inside, and that there is no pressure, and that we are just present in the now, and we act before we're thinking. And I think this part of fuck you, or like I will not do anything. If it's what is alive now, you declare it as it is, like that. And this is also being present. The thing is, when you are really present with it, you experience the results of what you are doing. And what I already experienced before, and like, I don't know, when I was high school and I did that fuck you, what I used it to do with, together with the fuck you, was numbing myself. And I think this, what you said, Oliver, is valuable to the radical freedom experiment when you do it and you don't numb yourself. So there is this component that the experiment of radical freedom is that you do whatever you want. Really, you go drinking, you go to party, you sleep all day long. You don't do any HP for 5 months, or you don't do any training for 3 years, or you get out of all the groups of PM. You know, you decide, I will not speak with anyone from PM. Ethne, she was sharing with me that experiment. She was 1 year without contact anyone from PM. And you do that. So the experience really that you really do that, but you don't numb yourself to the feelings that come up with your action. That you really be present with what it is. And this is one of the questions that I carry with me and I don't have answers. Sometimes this comes some possibilities, but it's a question that I don't believe there is no answer to it. That how do I enter reality? How and I become present? And I was talking with Leonard some days ago about that, and he said, okay, but everything in PM is about that. So I do everything because everything is about becoming present. It's about becoming present in the now. So it's I think in the end is all the same thing, but the facet that I'm unfolding and I'm researching in myself and I'm sharing with you here is that part of, okay, I'm doing it, I want to do it because I want to do it. And this is the things, like when you want to breathe like that, it's because you want to breathe like that. You want to not do EHP because you don't want to do EHP. So a possibility of practice is that you don't put anything after what you do. You do and you do. And you observe what happens with what you do. Until the next thing come. Until the next thing come. And this is the place that borns inside of me radical freedom. And probably for each person means one thing. But for me, borns from that place. And I want to move the space for this experiment about sniffing joy, the joy sniffing reality. Because I was asking, right, like what is needed to enter reality, to feel in contact with reality. And all the things in PM is about that. And even then, there are some hints that I'm discovering. For example, being in contact with the physical body. It's one. Describing the physical body and the sensations. What else? Do you have more things that you already experienced as doorways to experience reality before we go through the last practice of the space that I want to do with you?
I propose we go there. Like when I look at the time, I feel fear. I would like to have some time to sniff.
Okay, I will keep that question because I want to harvest with you. What do you discovered about entering reality? But I will move this space there and then I bring that question again if you have time.
Okay.
So the experiment I want to do with you here is about sniffing reality with joy. And I don't know how it goes, so I will discover with you. The way I propose is that you close your eyes, you start closing your eyes, and you take a deep breath. And the joy is located in your cells, which means that the joy is available all over your body because your body is made by cells. So this energy is available everywhere in your body. And you locate your attention in one specific part of cells, like one coral of cells. It can be your heart, can be your mind, if you choose, can be your small finger in the right hand. Choose one part. And then when you choose that conjunctions of cells, you put your hand there. There are two hands in that place. And you start to consciously raise the joy. You source the joy in that conjunctions of cells you are touching. And it's really from inside, it's like a center. The center of this place, the center of each cell is jumping, is vibrating, is radiating. Like yellow stuff, yellow purpley. And you allow that and allow your body and sound and whatever comes from that place. Yeah, and you keep there. Then it's like the cells started in a point to dance, like just like it's life. and while you experience that sensation, that feeling in your body, you allow this part connecting with your nose, your physical nose and your energetic nose. And these cells in this part of your body with your nose start to sniff. Start to sniff tastes, particulates, and movies and landscapes and shit. And while you are sniffing, let the words come through you. Like from this place, with the nose, you sniff. What is your joy sniffing?
Mountains.
Chocolate ice cream.
No.
And your joy is also precise.
Superpowers.
Hot water in the face.
Massage.
Dancing.
Smiling.
Tea coming over
Trees.
feeling the sky, the sun in my skin.
And now you locate your attention. Maybe you are sniffing the future. Now you allocate your attention to the present. What is your joy sniffing in the present right now?
Gabriella's voice.
The connection of billions distant, and we are in the same space. The warmth between my butt and the chair. It's like held.
Relaxing my shoulders.
Feeling my warm feet and a cold feet.
Oliver's joy.
Wooden floor. Fire.
Relaxation.
Trusting the movement.
Sleep. Stillness of the breath. And you keep that connection, and you let the intention, you can set the intention to that connection of the cells and with your nose, if this energetic sniffing that you can keep turned, and you will start to make more accurate this sniffing during your day, during this night before sleeping, and during your week. And you discover what is it your joy is sniffing. And if you are still with your eyes closed, you open your eyes. And this was a process to connect with conscious joy, and it is a practice you can take. It's a possibility.
For me, this opened up the question, what is reality? It's like, what is reality? And somehow what I found is like where I put my attention somehow is my reality for the moment. And I also had this sense of nature coming up, but then it's like, no, it's a thought. It's not my present reality. And then also I was sensing it's not only my joy that's sniffing reality. Like there are like sensations in my body which are more connected to fear and sadness. And it's also very real. And then at the same time, what's more real, like if I, for example, put my attention on some emotional sadness, or if I put my attention on joy that I feel in my cells right now. And these are questions to which I expect answers.
Can I say something? Because actually the joy is in the cells, and the cells have the impulse of life. So it makes sense to search for the impulse of life through the joy.
More than this sense, my question and research is really how in reality this impulse of life comes, and how do I tune in that intelligence of the cells. And yeah, and I'm researching and I want to create process to tune more in that intelligence, that it's natural, that's like a bubble that comes in the waters, like just bloop, bloop, and bloop, and bloop, and it's like it's just coming. And what I heard you describing, Oliver, is like another way of saying this thing that Lilosophic says, that reality, it is what it is. And it is what you are looking at, is where you are placing it, the attention. Because where you put your attention, the energy is flowing there.
Yes.
And I think it's a really gravity question to walk. Like, what is reality, and what are the gateways to enter it, to experiencing it? And this dismantle the fantasy that we arrive there. We entered and we leave. It's like, it's the same thing of the bubble. It's like it's coming, and we take the train and we don't take the train. We take the train and we don't take the train. It's and it's sometimes when I say like that, it sounds philosophical, or like I feel fear that it sounds like it's easier. It's just like that. But I experience this so practical with when I'm playing with my attention. And we are going to the end now. Our last minute, and I want to honor our time together. And I'm noticing the pressure of like how to close, or the questions were not answered, or it's like, yeah, and I am in my mind. Thank you for this time together and the willingness to jump in here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Gabriela, and thank you, team.
Yeah, thank you, team.
See you in another spaces, and see you here in that space. Bye.